to our very first Sandoval County Democratic Party election night watch party. Hopefully when we do this the next time, we'll do it in person at some place, but given the circumstances, we're online. Want to give a special thanks to Deb Dapson and her team for making arrangements for tonight's fiesta. So a big round of applause for her and her team. So now tonight's Zoom fiesta is carefully planned, but you know, with everybody, with people coming and going, we all need to be flexible. It's our first time doing this, so there'll probably be some glitches and stuff like that. It's also late at night, past a lot of people's bedtime, so just please be patient. We're very pleased to have two great MCs for us, Senator Fred Harris and State Auditor Brian Colon. There'll also be several musical moments in the evening and at least one or two games with gift prizes from Starbucks' prizes. Most of you will be muted during the fiesta to avoid background noises, you know, such as dogs barking, clocks ringing, TVs, that sort of thing. So once again, thank you for joining us. Also want to give a shout out to Alexis Jimenez for all the work she's done over the past month and a half, you know, in encouraging voter registration. As some of you know, there was a incident involving her and a lady in an SUV that rammed into her. Fortunately, only her wrist was hurt. And they were able to get her license plate, so they're trying to track down the perp now. Last I heard is that they were still looking for this woman, and once she's found, she's going to be arrested, and Alexis is going to press charges. But I just want to give a shout out to the great work she's doing. Also, just want to briefly, we have some great people on the Zoom call, but also I just want to introduce Commissioner Ken Eichwald. Kenneth, are you online right now?
Coming in.
Kenneth?
Okay. He's connecting.
I just let him in.
Huh?
Yeah.
He's coming in.
I just let him in.
Yeah.
Okay, Kenneth, do you want to say hello?
No, that's you. They're asking.
Kenneth, do you want to say hello to everybody?
Where'd I go?
I think you're unmuted already.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Kenneth. Hi, how are you?
How you guys doing? I can't get my video going. I can hear you and I can see you, but it's about as far as I can go. So good evening. How are you guys doing?
Good,
All right,
good.
Awesome.
Trying to keep up with some numbers here and seeing if we get anybody elected here. I'm not sure, you know, what's going on down there in Sandoval. They're not really showing a whole lot of numbers. So kind of weird.
Absolutely. Well, we will definitely look forward to the results coming in, and we really appreciate you joining us, Commissioner Eichwald, and thank you so much. And then now, do you have anything else to say? I'm sorry, Mr. Kenneth, or is that all?
No, that's about it. I just want to thank everybody for all their assistance in helping the Democratic Party. I've seen so many of your posts and everything else on Facebook, and you know, it's really encouraging that we have this activism in our community, and hopefully you know, the night goes well. You know, it's the night sometimes at the beginning it seems kind of dreary. I've been through a lot of elections, and then come the morning things change. So you know, hopefully you know, we have to keep our spirits up and make sure that we have you know, count every vote that comes in, and hopefully we come up ahead. So, but thank you again for having me, and you know, I'll listen for a while.
All right. Thank you so much, Commissioner Eichwald. So now we're going to really truly kick off the evening with remarks by one of the most amazing political figures in New Mexico. He is the former Senator Fred Harris and the current Chief of Staff for the Democratic Party of New Mexico, as appointed by State Chairwoman Marg Elston. And he will give us an update on national races so far on the East Coast. And I'd like to introduce everybody to Senator Harris.
John, thank you very much. And so much great thanks to you are due for what a great job you've done as chair of the Sandoval Party, and to all the others, so many of them that are on here who've been involved in the Sandoval County Democratic Party. I'm really impressed with the work that you've done and that you are doing, and I think it's really going to pay off. I've been a resident of Sandoval County now for not quite 50 years, but quite a while. And I am really proud to have been involved with the Sandoval Democratic Party. And I'm proud of these candidates we've got. We've got terrific candidates for all the way from, as they say, from the county courthouse to the city councils, to the state roundhouse, and then to the Congress of the United States and the White House. We've got a terrific group of candidates this year, and I've been really proud to be associated with them. I also want to put in a word for our former county Democratic chair here in Sandoval County, my roommate, Mark Elliston, who graduated from this job to become, as you know, the state chair of the Democratic Party. She'd been working 24 hours a day. Mark is the kind of volunteer in campaigns that candidates love, because she'll do anything, and she has been all during this campaign, making telephone calls, stuffing envelopes. She does lit drops. She's been doing that, and she's been on Zoom sessions so much. I'm afraid she's going to get a sunburn. I'm the kind of volunteer that candidates don't have a great deal of use for, because I always want to think big thoughts and strategy, and generally candidates have all they need in that regard. So what I'm doing, particularly with Marg, there are things that are the level of my competence, but I'm very good at. And one is what we did this morning at the corner of Alameda and Corrales Road, visibility, holding up signs. I'm really good at that. And the other thing is driving Marg. We were doing lit drops over in the far west of the of Rio Rancho in the Katie Duhigg race. Marg did the dropping of the literature. My job was the driver. And she said I really did a terrific job. She's on another Zoom session right now with the Democratic Party of New Mexico, but I bring you greetings from her, and many, many thanks for all you've done here with the Sandoval Democratic Party. I was asked to say a word about what were my favorite general elections, presidential elections, and what were my least favorites. My most favorite I've known, of course, personally every Democratic presidential nominee from John Kennedy on, including those who became president. I've known Joe Biden, for example. I did not get involved in the presidential primary because Marg's position under the rules, by her position, she is prohibited from getting involved in Democratic primaries, and out of respect for her position, I didn't get involved in primaries either, including the presidential primary. But as I look back on it now, and I think a lot of you think the same way, but I've talked about it with some of you. It turns out that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I think, were just about the absolute best candidates we could have had to carry us into and through, I think, successfully this presidential election. I've known Joe since I was the first national figure, as he likes to say always, broke the log jam when I went up to Wilmington to campaign for him. He was a 29-year-old city council person running for the United States Senate, and as it turned out, successfully. And
It's a 9-point victory for Donald Trump in 2016. He improved
You got your audio on or off?
They go for an
Well, they usually
11-point victory in this.
we're getting I think we're getting a little bit hacked, but we'll go right on. Joe, the most interesting thing about Joe's campaign this year, and I don't know if this has ever happened before, but his approval rating has gone up during this campaign. That's rather unusual. Most of the time, with all the attacks that come and all, our presidential nominee loses some in the approval ratings, but in Joe's case, his approval has gone up and his disapproval rating has gone down. And he's been revealed, I think, to all of us through television and otherwise, as a really decent and good man. And he is leading a party now with the most progressive platform in the history of the Democratic Party. And he is clearly the most progressive candidate for president that we've ever had. I think Joe sees this as a Franklin Roosevelt moment. I'm what I call a radical optimist, like Franklin Roosevelt was. Franklin Roosevelt believed in government of, by, and for the people. And he believed that if we all worked together for it, we could bring about better days. And he was right about that. John Lewis was a radical optimist, and Joe Biden is. And I think, as I said, Joe sees this as a Franklin Roosevelt moment where we're not just going to go back to some normal after all of this terrible, the various crises we're in the midst of, but he's going to help us build back better. And we're going to make the most of our opportunities to really change things in this country for the better and for most people. My best general election was when Barack Obama was nominated and elected president. And it brings tears to your eyes, I think it does to me, it probably does to you too, to see him now speaking and so forth. And we see what a president can be. And it's just the opposite of what we have had, as we all know, during these really dangerous and terrible 4 years that we've been going through. My worst general election, well, I should say the most disappointing, was in 1968. 1968 was a horrible year for the country, with the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., with the assassination of my closest friend in the Senate and my seatmate in the Senate, Robert Kennedy. And then with a horrible convention, terribly marred by what a Citizens Commission later called a police riot there in Chicago during the convention. We came out of that convention very disappointed by all of that. The country did too, I think, but also because Humphrey had a chance to break with Johnson and go on record against the Vietnam War, and had agreed to do so, and had put me and others in charge of in the platform committee to adopt an anti-war provision, which I did. I got the chair of the platform committee to agree to it, but then President Johnson's forces moved in and stopped that. And so we left the convention without, with a compromise plan on the Vietnam War. And that, I think, proved to be fatal. Incidentally, during that same convention, as Larry O'Brien and others have written about, Humphrey had me in one room of his hotel suite, and Ed Muskie, Senator Ed Muskie, in another. he went back and forth between us to make a decision about which of us he wanted as his running mate. And finally, at the last, came in to me and said, Fred, I'm going to have to choose the older man. That was Muskie. And I said, if that's your decision, I'll nominate him, which I did. And then, of course, later on, I became chairman of the Democratic Party after we had lost. But Humphrey, then I joined the plane at the last as we traveled from California up through Washington and then to Utah. And Humphrey was preparing a speech to that last break with Johnson on the Vietnam War, which he gave. And from that moment, in the last days of the campaign, his campaign began to pick up. And we went to bed that night, in the night of before the election, believing that we were going to win the presidency. But the next morning, the factual situation had set in. We realized that we didn't win it by the national popular vote, but we had to win it by states, and we couldn't really figure out a way that we could get enough electoral college votes, and we didn't win. If Humphrey could have taken that position earlier, as we had thought he would against the war, I think we would have won. So that was a great disappointment, and it was a great disappointment for the country when Richard Nixon running on a law and order platform and so forth, and with at the same time conducting secret negotiations with to see that the North Vietnamese did not come to the peace table before the election, as actually was sort of in train at the time. Well, enough of that. I want to introduce, if she's here already, Deb Holland. Is Deb with us?
Yes, hello, Senator.
Okay.
How are you?
Deb was a student of mine. She worked her way through undergraduate school and then through law school. She was an outstanding student of mine. I was pleased to nominate her to be the chair of the Democratic Party in Mexico, and she made the best we ever had. And Mark's in the other room, so I can say that I won't say the best we've ever had. Certainly the best we've had up to that time. Really put it, made the Democratic Party a professional operation. Great staff, and I'm really proud of her. And I was one of her first supporters when she decided to run for lieutenant governor, and then again when she ran as a terrific candidate for Congress. And she has already become a leader there, and she's going to be more and more a great leader for good in this country. Deb Holland.
Thank you so much, Senator. And thank you for everything. I am grateful for everything that you do for our state and that you've done for our state. And of course, helping Marg so much in her amazing leadership of our party. And I first want to say a tremendous thank you to Marg Elliston, our fearless chairwoman of the Democratic Party of New Mexico. Her and her team work their hearts out. I am inspired every day by the work that the volunteers across the state, the hours they put in to get our voters out during the middle of the worst health crisis that we've ever experienced. And I can say that I'm proud to have an opportunity to represent the 1st District of New Mexico for another term. We are going to make healthcare one of our most important issues. Of course, it already is one of our most important issues. We have a president who wants to take it away from everybody. So there is always going to be a fight as long as he is there, and certainly for the rest of this year. So I am so so proud of so many of you who worked your hearts out. Also, every candidate on this call who realized that it was time to step up, that you wanted to make a difference for our communities, so you decided to do something about it, and that's run for office. And I'm so grateful. Whether you're in office and you didn't have a re-election or an election this time around, if you're serving our community as a public servant, I am indebted to you for moving our state forward. And I hope, now I haven't seen the final tally, but I really hope to congratulate Brenda McKenna on her Senate race. I feel very proud. She works for me. She cares about our environment. She cares about our animals. She cares about our people. And those are the kind of candidates that I will always support. And I guess I just wanted to drop in and say thank you to everyone for everything that you've done for all of us candidates. It's, nobody wins an election on their own. And, when I was running for state chair and Senator Harris nominated me, I was always criticized for not being able to raise money. Nobody thought I could raise the money to keep the party going. And Senator Harris addressed that by saying, she knows how to get volunteers, and volunteers are better than money. And they are better than money. And so all of you who made one phone call or 1,000 phone calls, all of you who sent one text or 1,000 texts, you helped me because you helped everyone to raise the consciousness about the importance of this election. And it is still an important election, and regardless of how slow these results are coming in, it's driving me a little crazy right now. Regardless of how slow, look, we want to count every single vote. Every single vote needs to be counted. So don't let anyone tell us that Donald Trump has won another term when there are still votes out there that need to be counted. So I'm going to be really patient about this. I am going to take many deep breaths throughout the evening, and of course watch my phone and the TV like my life depends on it. So I am going to be optimistic until every vote is counted. And again, I just wanted to pop in and just tell you all that I'm so grateful for all of you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deb, and we look forward to your continued leadership and a part of the leadership in the U.S. House of Representatives.
Thank you.
Yep.
I want to introduce Damon Eli. I met Damon when he was 16 years old. I was the national chairman of the Democratic Party. His father was the chair of the Democratic Party in Arizona and had me out there to his house to speak to a Democratic group. And I never had any idea that one of these days, Damon and I would wind up living in the same town here in Corrales as we did. And not only that, but that he would wind up being my state representative. I'm in his district. I think Damon Eli is, and I'm really serious about this, the best and most effective member of the New Mexico legislature. Damon, with a great introduction like that, if you'll unmute yourself.
Oh, yeah, I did. What am I supposed to say? I was so intimidated by Senator Harris. He knows this. I've said this many times. When I was a kid, he was my boyhood hero. So when I got here, I didn't want to go talk to him because I was too scared. So it has been just wonderful to have him as a friend and a mentor. Yeah, and the ironic thing is, I just was talking to my dad and I said, Dad, Fred Harris is about to introduce me, so I gotta let you go. So Senator, my dad says hi. I have to tell you guys, I am totally distracted by the presidential race. This is just such an absolutely mind-bogglingly close election. But I do think, ironically, that when all is said and done, Arizona is going to help save us, because I think Arizona is going to go for Biden, believe it or not. It sure looks that way.
Yeah.
And if Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota are there, even without Pennsylvania, we're at 269. We have to pick up either the congressional district in Nebraska or in Maine. So we'll see. It's going to be close. It's going to be a long night. The one thing I will tell all you guys is I was a Sandoval County Commissioner 20 years ago, and nothing has changed at the Bureau of Elections. It is just maddening. So I can't get any results. I think most of us are getting skewed results. We don't know what we're looking at. So hopefully Alex and Leah will get in there and start firing people and get the Bureau of Elections working great. I do think that we're going to have a good night in the legislature. I do. I think the House is going to hold. And with people like with Brenda and probably about 5 or 6 other fantastic new senators, and maybe a new governor, but I love Michelle, but Michelle or Howie, we are going to have a very, I think, aggressive platform. It is going to be incredible. And so I'm really excited about the next session. How we're going to meet is going to be a question. But I did tell Leah today that next to Biden, my most fervent hope is that she beats Jay Block, and that frankly, both Alex and Leah win, and we can take the Democratic Party back to Sandoval County, and they'll stop doing the crazy stuff that we've had to shut down, like right to work and gun sanctuaries and all that ridiculous stuff, and they can get back to doing the business of Sandoval County. So I appreciate all of your guys' support. I really do. I'm hoping we get results sometime tonight. Maybe we'll find out before we find out who the next president is. But I have to tell you, I'm still optimistic about the presidential race. It's a little more nail bitey than I would have liked it to be. So thank you guys all for having me.
All right. Now it is a great pleasure to introduce somebody who's really typical of the outstanding candidates that we have here this round in Sandoval County, and that's a candidate for the state representative, Alexandria Pialan.
County Commission.
I meant county commission.
There you go.
Okay, am I muted?
Yeah.
Am I unmuted?
You are unmuted, yes.
All right, excellent. So, yeah, I'm running for County Commission District 4. We know it's a nail biter, but I thought we would have at least some results in now. But the last I saw, I had 12 votes and my opponent had 24. So those, I appreciate those 12 votes, and those 12 votes could literally be the difference between a win and a loss for me. So I'm not going to take them for granted and say they're just not anything to worry about or be thankful for. They most definitely are, but we know there's going to be a lot more votes on there. So we're just biting our nails, hanging on. Those of you who follow me on social media, I just wanted to tell you a few things. First of all, becoming a vegetarian is one big missed steak. All right. My friend drove his expensive car into a tree and found out how his Mercedes Benz, and that's it for now. I want to tell you that originally I had this big long letter or speech that I was going to write, and I was going to thank all of you for all of your support and all of your help, because I couldn't have gotten this far without every single one of you. Your donations, your work, your hard work. I've had people canvassing, texting, making phone calls. My favorite texter, however, is on with us this evening. It's my dad, Bill Pialan. Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom. Thank you. My dad and I knocked out about 2,500 texts in about 3 or 4 hours the other day, just the two of us. And then today, when I was going to be working on this great speech I wanted to present, I was texting from my cell phone and I was trying to get out the vote. I was chasing ballots all day. So Joel Wadsworth, you know, he's our data guru. He got me a couple lists today and said, here's some context. So I was on it, and it's going to be down to the wire for us. We know this. So again, I want to thank every single one of you for all of your help. And I guess since we don't have any results, that's it. But I want to, I'm honored to introduce to you the candidate who is running for our county clerk position, Ann Brady Romero. We became friends at the beginning of this journey, and we've been on this journey together, the four of us, Leah, Jenny, Ann, and I. And Ann has been such an inspiration and such a fine, supportive friend, even in the midst of personal attacks and great adversity. And so I want you to know that I am just so honored to have gotten to know her. I love her dearly. And I want to introduce all of you to our next county clerk, Ann Brady Romero.
Alex. Hi, everyone. Alex, thank you for such a great introduction. You know, I have been very nervous and I've been very concerned, especially with looking at these early numbers. Of course, we know that that's the early voting numbers. And we know that most Republicans went and voted early. I'm looking forward to the mail-in ballots to be counted. And I surely wish that the clerk's office would speed up those counts. And that's something that I want to change. I want to upgrade the BOE and bring in more polling places, work more closely with the Native Americans. And so I have a lot of work to do. And I have a great chief deputy clerk that'll be there with me, and that's our Joey Dominguez, who I respect tremendously. And, you know, I couldn't have done this without being welcomed so nicely into the Democratic Party. I'm not a politician, but, you know, I'm learning to be. I really am, because, you know, this has been such a, you know, I don't like the negativity of this. So I will run and I will hopefully win. And I will make sure that what I do in the clerk's office is to be honest, to be dedicated, and to be transparent. And with that, I thank you all for all your support. I could not have done it without you. We did robocalls, we did text messaging, we stood on street corners. However, Alex, when we were on the street corner on Unser and Southern, and all the Trump trucks started coming around, it bothered me. And that's why I was like, I'm done. I'm out of here. You know, just want to stay safe and do a good job. And I promise that I will not disappoint you. So thank you for letting me speak. Appreciate it.
Many thanks. Great candidates. Ann for clerk and Alex for county commissioner. Thank you so much for being our candidates here in Sandoval County. And now it's time for a little entertainment from a great group, Soulfire. Buddy Aveta with his brother Amada Aveta are founding members of Soulfire, and they're 7th generation New Mexicans. They're known for their original music, a unique sound that fuses rock with pop, R&B, and Latin influences. They're the sons of the local Chris Aveta, a man.
Hey. Go, buddy.
All righty. Thank you, Senator. Hi, Laura.
Senator. Hi, babe.
How are you guys doing?
Awesome. Sandoval County's rocking it.
Good, good. Well, we're gonna play a song that our dad wrote. This is called El Hombre Pensando. Yeah. Say hi to Miguel, Laura.
Hi, Mixter. Hi, Mado. Love you, brother.
Latinoamericano, latino tropical, hermano mexicano, mi raza de Aztlán, el hombre pensando, soñado y otro mundo, el tiempo va corriendo y cambiando en todo. Es el hombre del barrio, el mismo como yo y tú, siempre pensando en los cambios, de alma y de juventud, chicano pensando, tú cambias este mundo, y el tiempo va corriendo, y cambiando nosotros, viviendo mi vida como un pobre. Con las riquezas de mi corazón. Es el nombre del barrio de calle San Francisco y Alto. Es el nombre de allá arriba, de Don Miguel y San Acacio. El hombre pensando, tú cambias este mundo. Y el tiempo va corriendo y cambiando todo, viviendo mi vida como un pobre, con las riquezas de mi corazón. El hombre pensando, mi raza latina. El hombre pensado, mi raza latina. El hombre pensado, mi raza latina. El hombre pensado, mi raza latina. Thank you, Sandoval. We love you guys.
All right.
We got to
Thank you,
jump over
sir.
to Ben Ray's party. Thank you guys, okay? We'll see you.
All right. Thank you very much, Soul Fire. That's great. Now it's my pleasure. I think he's here with us now to introduce. Brian? Brian, are you on? Brian Clone?
Senator Harris, I don't think he is on yet, but I think we'd like to recognize County Treasurer Laura Montoya, who's in the room. Laura, if you're there, would you like to say hello?
Okay, great.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Good.
Okay. Hanging in there. I'm so happy to see all of your faces. So what I would say is that I think we had such an amazing slate of people today or this year. I am mostly focused on our county-wide races, so I definitely want to give a shout out to Jenny, who will be taking my place, and who will make elections more fair, equitable, and accessible to everyone, including our native populations. And our county commissioners, Alex and Leah, I'm hoping we can get them both in there to be with Kathy and Ken, which are both on the call too. It would be nice to have a commission that's transparent, that cares about the people, that's willing to have open public comment so that we can all participate in the process. And I'm overall just proud of all of you because you all are great candidates with wonderful experience, and you'll help our county to move forward. And as I'm moving into a different chapter and direction, it's been an honor to serve. And it's even more beautiful to see that I can leave the county knowing that there's some great people that are going to continue to serve the residents of Sandoval County instead of self-interest. So thank you very much for all of you and all the volunteers who have done nothing but try and do their best. Joel was giving us data today. So is Joey and I were doing data this morning. Tons of people were door knocking, phone banking, text messaging. And during a pandemic, everyone's part really counted. So I just want to say I'm proud of all of you for sticking together. I love being part of Sandoval County, and I'm so happy to see all of your faces. Go Dems!
Go Dems.
All right. Thank you very much, Laura. All right, then, John, back to you.
Actually, I'd like to step in here. While we're
Yes.
waiting for Brian to show up, I have a friend of mine put together a sort of an anthem for our time. And I'd like her to share that with you right now. Azrael?
Okay. About a month ago, I put my phone on shuffle as I was doing the dishes one morning, and this song came up, and it has become my anthem for this. And so I am going to play it for you. I put together this PowerPoint, and I hope that you can all see it. Shove people over to the side, up to the top. Okay, here we go. stop sharing somehow. Damn. How do I stop sharing?
Up at the top, up at the top.
I know it's somewhere up there under all the people. There. Okay. Thank you.
It was great.
Thank you. That was my anthem for this election cycle, and I thought I would just put together a PowerPoint, and when Deb said this fiesta was going to happen, I thought, well, why not put it together for Sandoval? So I did.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is Brian here?
Has Brian Cologne gotten here yet?
I don't see him.
He was on the, I think on the Zoom.
Probably have, yeah.
Yeah,
Having a hard time getting
he hasn't
away.
got here yet.
Let me text him. See if he can. Oh, he said he'll be there in 4 minutes.
Did we hear from Leah or Jenny?
I think so.
They're both on, I see.
Yes.
Yeah, why not? Yes, let's.
Why don't we just jump ahead then? Brian was going to introduce Leah. Leah is just a terrific candidate, and I believe is going to win this thing. We need her to do so.
Oh, yes, we do.
Here she is, one of the greatest candidates we've had for county commission. Leah.
Hi guys, it's so great to see you all tonight, and it's so great to see that Sandoval is having this, looks like well-attended Zoom. I choked on a bunch of water, so sorry. I sound really hoarse right now, but anyhow, I just want to thank everybody. I mean, from day one, when I was asked to run, and it took a minute, but I felt it important enough to do so. And I made the announcement on Earth Day, which was so important to me. And a lot of you were there, and now all of you are here and have followed me on this journey. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, want to say thank you, Sandoval, for your support, for your love, for your encouragement, for your endless help, whether you phone banked for me, whether you sent text messages. Joel, wow, incredible. Joel, I don't know if you're on here, but he was pinnacle, just incredible as my treasurer. I mean, just getting in those reports into the Secretary of State's office. I don't know how I can repay him. I asked him, how can I repay you for what you've done? It was just incredible. He wants lunch. So I would have to buy you 1,000 lunches, I swear, what he did. So thank you so much. My sister, Alex, wow. I mean, from day one, we announced together, and she's been my sounding board, my advisor, my listen to me. I mean, all gamuts of emotion. I love you, Alex, and thank you. And I don't know if Chris is on, my campaign manager, Kathy, wow, wisdom, Commissioner Eichwald, all of you, thank you so much. But like I said, from day one, we made this announcement, and we ran it from that first event through COVID, started knocking doors, stopped knocking doors. I mean, it's just been an incredible roller coaster. I've met so many great people, but I think the most important thing, as far as I can see, despite what happens tonight with the results, we ran this campaign with integrity. And I am proud of that. We ran this campaign with honesty, and I am proud of that. And we absolutely refused to be distracted by my opponent and just the ugliness that was thrown out there. We just refused to be distracted. And, you know, that's what I am most proud about. So I hope to win. I hope Alex wins. I hope we have a great clerk in Ann and treasurer in Jenny. But despite it all, whether we do or not, I mean, I'm here. I'm a strong voice. I will continue to be a strong voice for Sandoval, for our Indigenous people, for our women, for, I mean, just advocacy, and it's just my thing. I feel like I found it late in life because I was busy being a single mother, getting my kids through school and to college. And I just feel like I found my voice in the Sandoval Democratic Party. But most of all, my voice will always be for our environment. We know that, you know, we live in a desert environment ecosystem here, and we cannot afford to disregard or take for granted our water. And when you think about the Navajo Nation, and when you think about the chapters in Sandoval County, the Torreon chapter and Ohoncino chapter, and, you know, our Indigenous people in Sandoval County, and why they lack water is just incredible. I mean, it makes no sense at all. So I will continue to be a strong advocate for our environment, for sure. But labor, always an advocate for labor. Some of you may have heard my story. I, at one point in my life, early on in my career as a therapist, I worked in the Roswell School District. And at one point, we had to fight for our wages. And it was the NEA who just were our champions. So labor, I will always be in the corner of labor. And I think he's on here, Charles. He was the voice down there at the time, years and years ago, who helped us to stay on our wage track. So I will always be behind labor. And then safety in our county, safety in recovery from COVID, making sure that our law enforcement is equipped, is staffed. You know, my opponent says that my biggest desire is to defund the police. That's not true, you know, but we do have, I do stand behind our law enforcement, and we do have to have safe communities. So anyhow, just thank you all. I'm just sitting here waiting for results and anticipating what might come, and just completely excited and thrilled. And I mean, I could not have asked for better. So thank you all so much for hearing me tonight.
All right. Thank you, Leah. That's really wonderful. And now we do have with us Brian Colon, who will take over as MC, starting with the introduction of Lucas Oswald, and then after that of our county treasurer candidate, Jenny Taylor. But first, let me just say about Brian before he takes over. Brian, as you all know, is really the spirit of the Democratic Party in this state. He's not only a first-rate, superb state auditor, but he does all sorts of other things too. For example, mentoring young Hispanic men in particular, whole numbers of them who've gone on to all sorts of other good things themselves as a result of his mentorship. That's just one of the various things that are unheralded but are really important that Brian does. A great leader and the future of our party in the state, Brian Colon.
Hey, Senator Fred Harris, talk about New Mexico's living legend. You've always got to talk about Fred Harris. I mean, let me just tell you something. If you don't know Fred Harris and his incredible service journey, I just encourage you to Google it real quick, because everybody now has begun to know him as the chief of staff. They have no idea that long before he was the first gentleman of the Democratic Party of New Mexico, he was a United States Senator. He was a distinguished professor at our university. He was a distinguished author. He's a public speaker. He's an incredible reader in public. He can read you a story and take you miles and miles away, particularly when he's reading you excerpts from his books. Senator Fred Harris, you are truly an amazing and inspiration an incredible leader who has not only served with distinction in the United States Senate and run for president of the United States, but you've also done what few high-level elected officials have done. And that is you have embraced and understood the value of the people on the ground, the value of the people that are doing the grassroots work. When I look out here and I see Leah and I see John, Chairman Sweda, I see the people that do the work. And you have never for a minute stopped thinking about them and being grateful for them. And even when you were in the United States Senate, you were the people's advocate, and you were the advocate for grassroots politics. And so, folks, I know that everybody in Sandoval County, because you've known him as the first gentleman of the Sandoval County Democratic Party and now the State Democratic Party. But let me just tell you, if you haven't taken a minute to learn about his journey and his lived experience and the progressive values that he brought to national politics long before its time, take some time to learn, because Fred Harris